Welcome back. The Ministry of Agriculture, Forestry, Fisheries and Rural Transformation announced that as of January 1, 2017, all sea turtles and their eggs are protected in the waters and beaches of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. The decision to impose a total ban on all sea turtles came in late 2016 in response to the increased global threat to sea turtles and their status as vulnerable, endangered and critically endangered. The Ministry of Fisheries initiative to protect all sea turtles comes under the theme, No Extinction in My Generation. A report from the ministry outlined that this year we will continue to experience increased vigilance in the effort to ensure that all persons abide by the law and the end of killing of turtles, the harvesting of their eggs and the sale of their shells as turtle shell jewelry. The remote communities of Connery, Byra and Sandy Bay, Big Sand have been identified for 2 turtle watching projects. The Minister of Fisheries, Honorable Subwater Caesar, stated, "It is a great day for conservation in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, as all our sea turtles are now protected." The Minister wishes to thank all stakeholders who partnered with the government to make a total protection for our turtles in SVG a reality. The Minister concluded that St. Vincent and the Grenadines is willing to support any effort regionally and internationally toward the protection of turtles. Gordon Shallow, curator for the Botanical Gardens, who highlighted that the gardens can be used for many different purposes, is calling for persons to use the Botanical Gardens. He said they have a number of different packages for members of the public. He noted that it's a very great place to bring the entire family and to build memories. Mr. Shallow said they are making it very affordable for everyone to be able to visit and utilize the gardens for many different purposes. A medical organization, Health 2000 Incorporation, based in Canada, has answered the cries of the residents of the North Leeward constituency who were displaced from their homes following the trough system. Regional Manager Stacey Medford, a Vincentian medical practitioner and regional manager, visited the studios of IKtv and shared some information with us pertaining to this situation.
My name is Stacey Medford. I am originally from Lomans, Leeward, and I work for a company called Health 2000 Inc., which is based in Canada. We are a pharmaceutical manufacturing company, and we supply medication to the governments and private hospitals and clinics in the region, from Guyana all the way up to Jamaica. And being from St. Vincent, I'm currently living in Barbados for work, and I have been back and forth over the last few weeks and have seen a lot of the news reports on the devastation by the tropical storm and the following trough systems that passed through. So we have decided as a company to bring some relief aid to St. Vincent. We have recently found out that on the windward side, all of those families thankfully have already been relocated, but on the leeward side in the Rosebank and Spring Village area, there's still quite a few families that are still in shelters and have not received much aid. So we will be supplying as much aid as we can.
Mrs. Medford stated that one of the major objectives of her organization is to be able to assist the region as best as possible and to alleviate some of the medical issues suffered by individuals after disaster.
And we have been supplying the region for upwards of just over 10 years, and we continue to acquire new markets, and we also give quite a bit of donations to the government. As we know, in this economic recession, it has been difficult for some of the smaller islands to keep up with the demand for medication. So, you know, we try to step in wherever we can, and you know, try to assist the region in any way that we can.
Mrs. Medford also said that chemotherapy is now made available free of cost at the Milton Cato Memorial Hospital.
We have had quite a bit of experience in the medical field, and I'm the regional manager, so I oversee this part of the region. And having been to the other islands and seeing some islands way more advanced than you know, places like St. Vincent, St. Lucia, Grenada, you know, we have stepped in and we have really tried to push new medications that are affordable, and you know, we have seen some advancement in the field of medicine and pharmaceuticals based on our ability to introduce affordable medication into the region.
And when asked what was her most memorable experience as a medical practitioner, Mrs. Medford had this to say.
And I can tell you one of the things we have done recently is to introduce affordable chemotherapy medication to the hospital here in St. Vincent. So now there are both children and adults that are able to get chemotherapy treatments without having to go overseas and spend a lot of money. So just knowing that we can help people that otherwise would not have had help, that's just enough for me personally.
Just 3 days into the new year, 2 serious accidents were recorded on the windward side of the island, one in Argyle and another in Bellevue. There were no deaths during the accidents, which saw persons receiving numerous injuries. Another vehicle overturned yesterday afternoon at Mount Grennan on the windward side of the island. It is unclear if there were any casualties. IKtv will keep you informed. On Saturday, 31st December 2016, a young resident of Chumika Onyxie, Hamilton, died shortly after he lost control of his vehicle, which slammed head-on into the wall surrounding the Chatibele fish market. Supporter Caesar, Minister of Agriculture, during a recent press, updated the nation on preliminary work being done for the establishment of the local coffee, that's the local coffee industry in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and will soon have direct access to their produce overseas to buyers in a timely manner. He noted that this is the first time in the history of our country in the agricultural sector to have international air access from St. Vincent to the markets. Minister Caesar said during this year, they will be working with farmers' organizations to ensure that the farmers take full advantage of the Agri-Expo Strategy initiative during this year. In a stunning turn of events, Hot 97 this morning reported that the St. Vincent and the Grenadines Consul General in Toronto, Fitzhuggins, is looking at the possibility of bringing charges against the station for comments made last year during a segment of the station's AM Mayhem morning program. Hot 97 reported at a source that Huggins will sometime during this month get his lawyers to write to the station's managing director, Luke Boye, in relation to what he considers defamatory statements made by one of the hosts. If he is successful and awarded monetary damages, the Consul General says he will use the money to build a house for a family in Sandy Bay who was affected by the last passing trough system. According to well-placed sources, IKtv has learned the Congo Valley Access Road, which was damaged during the passage of a trough system last November, has been repaired. The weather system had rendered the road, which runs alongside the Grand Sable River, impassable, cutting off vehicular access to the mountaintop bottling plant, the SBG Cocoa Company, the Jennings catchment area of the Central Water and Sewage Authority, 10 farms, and a few private homes. The Congo Valley area is also a popular recreation site for persons to hold gold cooks and river picnics on weekends and public holidays. It is not clear if the work being done is permanent or of a temporary nature. More local news when we come back.